There is no such thing as justice in a nation where men like Jeffrey Epstein flourish. There is only delay, denial, and the televised spectacle of disgust, rebranded as political discourse. And now this list. It's not a full accounting, not the unredacted truth, but a piece, a gesture, a bone thrown to the starving. Names like currency, reputations reduced to footnotes, and still the system creaks forward, unchanged, because in America, proximity to power doesn't implicate you, it insulates you. Let's be clear about one thing right now. Donald John Trump was not merely acquainted with Jeffrey Epstein, he was a participant in the pageantry. A man so enmeshed in the performance of power that his own words now echo like a confession, rotting in the open air. He said, quote, "He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side," end quote. That wasn't 1992 locker room banner. That was a man drawing the curtain back. That was Trump laying the groundwork for plausible deniability in a world where the age of the girls was just another shrug behind closed doors. The Mar-a-Lago parties, the pageants, the silence, he was there, not just in flight logs, but in spirit, in the ideology of impunity, in the architecture of the rot. And now after the trial that never came and the noose that conveniently did, the list remains, or rather parts of it, drip-fed to the populace trained to bark and cheer on command, and as the names slip out like oil from a fractured pipeline, what do we see from our brave congressional leaders? Silence, suppression, and obfuscation. Bipartisan complicity masquerading around as procedural delay. And let's stop pretending, because you do not try to bury evidence that clears your name. You don't redact details that exonerate you. You don't kill a man in federal custody and throw the cameras offline because you've got nothing to hide. It isn't conspiracy theory. This is a matter of arithmetic, of motive, of criminality dressed in a tailored suit, about men who vote on laws by day and sip from the same chalices of power by night. And who is it that they are protecting? Why did the Senate Judiciary Committee quietly table the full disclosure request? Why did certain House members vote against subpoenas that would have unveiled the full list? Why did Bill Barr, Trump's loyal hatchet man, oversee the Justice Department when Epstein mysteriously wound up dead in a concrete cage with 2 broken neck bones and no working camera? And why, when the subject is brought up, does everyone suddenly forget how to read? Because they are not afraid of what we'll see. They are afraid that we will understand it. That the public will recognize that this list is not a relic of one pervert's little black book, but a blueprint of how the elite protect their own. These are not isolated incidents. These are transactions. These were favors, alliances, and leverages built in flesh. It was never about the individual names. It was about access. It was about building a catalog of compromise, and that catalog now includes the most powerful people in the world. And the truth is, Trump isn't the outlier. He's the embodiment. Clinton's there, Dershowitz, Gates, heads of state, royals, Wall Street aristocrats. But more than that, it's the ones who never make the headlines, the lawyers and the judges and the diplomats, the billionaires whose names you don't know because their power doesn't require public recognition, and the congressmen who don't scream for justice because they're too busy lobbying for time. Every member of Congress not actively demanding full release of these documents, every name, every court record, every sealed transcript is complicit. Period. Full stop. You do not sidestep genocide unless you profit from its shadows. You do not look away from child trafficking unless you're terrified of what the mirror will reflect. And they'll say it's something about due process, or they'll say it's about unverified allegations, but this government has had no problem branding migrants as rapists, no hesitation in creating registries and blacklists for Muslims, no pause in dragging mothers from their homes because they took their child to the wrong school district. So spare me the goddamn sanctimony. Because when it comes to billionaires abusing children, suddenly we're told we must be careful. Suddenly allegations are sacred things, and suddenly everyone grows a conscience about defamation, while the bodies of abused girls pile up behind us like kindling for a revolution that never comes. This isn't a question of justice anymore. It's a test of memory, of whether a nation still has enough soul left to say no more. The Epstein List is not about who flew on what goddamn plane. It's about the system that gave that plane clearance, parked it beside government aircraft, and watched from the tower while human cargo was delivered to parties where the price of admission was silence. And Trump knew. He thrived in that world. And anyone still defending him now has chosen sides, not between left and right, but between justice and rot, between remembering and forgetting. And to the men in Congress who whisper delay or deflect, we see you. Your names may not be on the flight logs, but they're written across every transaction and redaction and delay and every deflected subpoena. You may not have flown on the plane, but you damn sure helped it land safely. So yes, release the names, every name, and don't stop there. Burn the goddamn temple, salt the soil it grew from, and never let us forget that in America it was not just the predator who thrived, but every polished, pious man in a seat of power who said nothing when it mattered. Because in the end, silence is complicity, and trying to bury the truth is its own confession. Defiance till death.